In this video, I want to talk about communication, language and literacy through movement and play. So how children can develop in these areas when they're moving, when they're playing, within a play-based approach, but generally when they're moving and playing. So of course, sitting down and reading books is wonderful, and all those kind of things. The traditional language and literacy ways of learning are great. However, children will be learning in so many ways just naturally. So when they are engaged in activities with other children, they're learning about how to communicate with each other. However, we could take it one step further and have conversations with them. I mean, having wonderful conversations with children in our care, children that we're educating, about something that they're engaged in. So if a child is struggling with something, be it a task that you've set them or when they're actually engaged in child-directed play, then asking them questions, with regards helping them problem solve, will actually help improve their language. So communication, even from when they're babies, it's great to have a conversation with a baby, because they will answer you. You won't understand a word, but it's wonderful. It starts them to understand the rhythm of language. Now, going back to stories, of course, reading books is fantastic. However, take it one step further and create active stories. And, you don't have to always come up with the active stories. The children can help you come up with the active story. They could, depending on their age, they could write their own story, or you could create that story as you are going along. So where should we go to now? What animals shall we find? Shall we become friends or not? What do we find in the jungle? You can ask them questions and there can be this dialogue, which is great. Now, thinking about simple things like learning words. Obviously, reading a book, you can learn words. However, using flashcards with words and actual pictures are great for learning words, not just for children where whatever language you're engaged in. So if you're engaged in English, if English is the child's second language, having flashcards are a great way for helping children understand what the word is, if there's a word and a picture to support that word. So flashcards are fantastic for that, not just children where the language is their second language. It's for all children. And then remembering that actually when children are engaged in gross motor activity, they're also developing a lot of their fine motor skills. So, a lot of activities, they're still going to be having to use their fingers and their hands and what have you in smaller ways, be it when they're outside building something or having to grab something, they're still developing their fine motor skill. Plus, when children are engaged in gross motor activities, they're developing things like their shoulders, which underpins stability for when they're writing. So actually, making children sit down to write before they're ready is going to be counterproductive. Letting them play a lot, now that's going to help them with school readiness. That's going to help them develop the skill, the abilities that they need. Once again, looking at underpinning writing can be a whole different conversation. However, just knowing that children playing in early years is going to prepare them for school, it's going to prepare them for writing, it's going to help them with those skills that they need. So any activity, any way children are actually engaged in activity with others, with yourselves, communication is going to be developed. So it's really, really important that they're involved in lots of group activities, and rather than just sitting them down and trying to teach them something, they're learning through real world experience. And once again, they will learn themselves, but also you can be guiding them. You can be guiding them towards what's maybe acceptable, what's not when it comes to communication. Things like communicating respectfully, etc. But that's a lot easier concept for them to understand through experience, rather than just actually trying to teach it when it's not in the right context. So, like social skills, communication skills are going to be learned through experience. And then obviously language comes through a lot of activity, a lot of conversation. So it's not just communication, through a lot of conversation. But then also movement to music, as everyone knows, one of my favorite things. Movement to music is going to help children learn the rhythm of language. So movement to music is not just good for moving, it's really good for children to understand rhythm. So there's also those more obscure ways that children are learning through movement and play. However, this is just a nice little outline of why we call playing in early years children's work. Children are working. They're not just playing, they're developing, they're growing, they're experiencing new things every day, all day. So this is just to kind of give you an idea of what to look out for when children are engaged in activities, so that you are aware of how much they're developing, how much they're growing. But then also you can think about how you can play a role in moving it forward. Either stand back or look at ways to go in and engage and help children develop their knowledge. So if you've got any good ideas, if you want to add to any of this, please share in the comments. But there's more information down beneath, and also links. Thanks for listening.